United States unemployment rate rises above 10%. The unemployment rate has hit double digits for the first time since 1983 and is likely to go even higher. The 10.2% jobless rate for October shows how weak the economy remains. Rising unemployment also could threaten the recovery if it saps consumers' confidence and makes them more cautious about spending as the holiday season approaches. That scenario is also likely. Some 16 million people or more can't find jobs even though the worst recession since the Great Depression has abated, some economists say. The unemployed rate jumped to 10.2%, the highest since April 1983, from 9.8% in September. The Labor Department has said the economy shed a net total of 190,000 jobs, more than economists had expected. The number of unemployed hit at least 15.7 million, up from 15.1 million. The job losses occurred across most industries, from manufacturing and construction to retail and financial. The job loss total is based on a survey of businesses, separate from a survey of households, that produces the unemployment rate. Economists say the unemployment rate could easily reach 10.5% or more next year because employers remain reluctant to hire. President Barack Obama called the new jobs report another illustration of why much more work is needed to spur business creation and consumer spending. He said, "I will not rest until all Americans who want work can find work." His comments in the White House Rose Garden came shortly before Obama signed into law a $24 billion economic stimulus bill, providing tax incentives to prospective home buyers and extending unemployment benefits, again, to the long-time jobless who have been left behind. Counting those who have settled for part-time jobs or stopped looking for work, the unemployment rate would be 17.5%, the highest on record. "It's not a good report," said Dan Greenhaus, chief economic strategist for New York-based investment firm Miller, Tabak and Company. "What we're seeing is a validation of the idea that a jobless recovery is on track," whatever that means. So, what they're saying is the recovery is happening, but it's a jobless recovery. I say there will be no real economic recovery without no job creation. How can you have a real recovery unless jobs are actually being created? You can't. Again, it's an illusion of a recovery. Friday's report is the first since the government said last week that the economy grew at a 3.5% annual rate in the July-September quarter. The strongest signal yet that the economy is rebounding. But that isn't fast enough to spur rapid hiring. You need explosive growth to take the unemployment rate down, Greenhaus said in an interview. And that's just not happening. The economy soared by nearly 8% in 1983 after a steep recession, he said, lowering the jobless rate by 2.5 percentage points that year. But the economy is unlikely to improve that fast this time, as consumers remain cautious and tight credit hinders businesses. In fact, many economists expect economic growth to moderate early next year as the impact of various government stimulus programs aimed at home and car buying fade away. So, in essence, the economy could go into another recession again. High unemployment is likely to become a political liability for Obama and Democrats in Congress. Most economists expect the jobless rate will remain at least above 9% through next November, when congressional elections are held. Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill traded blame over the unemployment figures. Representative Barney Frank, the Democrat who chairs the House Financial Services Committee, said the economy would have been much worse had congressional Democrats not approved Obama's $787 billion stimulus package in February. Republicans countered, but Obama's focus on increased spending was making things worse. More debt, more spending, clearly has not worked, particularly in a time of double-digit unemployment, said the Senate GOP leader, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. One sign of how hard it still is to find a job: the number of Americans who have been out of work for 6 months or longer rose to 5.6 million, a new record. They account for 35.6% of the unemployed population, matching a record set last month. October was the 22nd straight month the U.S. economy has lost jobs, the longest on records dating back 70 years. The report showed job losses remain widespread across many industries. Manufacturers eliminated a net total of 61,000 jobs, the most in 4 months. Construction shed 62,000 jobs, down slightly from the previous month. Retailers, the financial sector, and leisure and hospitality companies all continued to reduce payrolls. The U.S. economy has lost a net total of 7.3 million jobs or more since the recession began in December 2007. The average work week was unchanged at 33 hours, a disappointment because employers are expected to add more hours for current workers before they even began hiring new ones. Economists suspect jobs likely will remain scarce, no matter even if they say the economy is improving. No job growth, no real economic recovery is possible. That's just the way it is. That's the facts. Because U.S. consumers account for approximately 70% of the U.S. economy, the spending part. So, if people are losing their jobs still, even if they get unemployment, they won't be spending like they used to, which in turn drives down the recovery, or hurts any recovery that might possibly happen. So, the economists are saying it's going to be a jobless recovery, whatever that means. But anyway, there are fundamental problems with the economies of the world. Real change must happen for the better. And these are more signs of the end times, transition days. The transition, again, is a process. It's happening daily, all around the world. And there are many signs of all different kinds.